Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. Let's talk about it tonight as we just got some news that Leon Rose is added to the squad. Veteran point guard Payne is on his way to New York City in the Mecca. Man, if you can't beat him, join him. Payne, of course, was a part of the Philly squad, and the Knicks put the beat down on Philly. But Payne going to bring his talents to the Knicks. Let's talk about it. I'm going to give you my reactions. What does this mean moving forward? What's happening with Precious Achiuwa, guys? Let's rock out tonight with the best chat in the biz and talk about it. Let's get your thoughts on this situation now as the New York Knicks and Leon Rose continues to cook. He's in the lab, still trying to improve this squad. And as you know, announced before by Chris Haynes, Ian Begley confirming as well, and everyone else jumping on now, that veteran Payne is joining the Knicks. An unexpected move from my perspective, but what does this mean for Deuce, right? What does this mean for Kolek? And what does this move mean overall? We're going to talk about it, guys, as filled out the depth chart with the roster, and this is what the roster looks like right now, right? Kevin McCullough, we talked about his injuries at the moment and him rehabilitating. Looks like if he does come on board, he'll be on the two-way for the season. But Payne slots in as extra depth, right? Now, he's a proven performer. Ian Begley's talking about the fact that, the Knicks, are looking for guys that are playoff proven. That could be something that, the line of thinking from Leon was, obviously that interest in Tyus Jones, Ian Begley is saying right now as well. But 47 playoff games for Payne in the last 4 years, right? Can score. We know he got hot through various patches of the Philly series in the playoffs. He can run the team a little as well. I think this is, setting things up for a potential another move. I hope it isn't true where, maybe Deuce McBride is more expendable in the future. I mean, you've got to look at it like, with Kolek looking like he was as well, that maybe not right away, but possibly at some point later in the future, someone is more expendable from the guard rotation, right? Because it's a logjam. Salute Chris, Julian in the building, JJ, Regular Joe, and Drew rocking with us tonight. How you doing, guys? Salute Replay Squad as well. Do me a favor, please smash that like button. The Knicks streets are buzzing. We're going to break down Payne's game tonight. We'll look at some film as well. We're going to talk about Precious Achiuwa, right? Because I think this could be central to everything. Where there's a reason why Precious hasn't been re-signed yet. The Knicks are looking to make more moves, but probably a sign and trade where if Precious doesn't stay, we will sign and trade him to bring in more big man depth. Otherwise, if we do re-sign Precious, he'll obviously stay and be part of the big man rotation because we need bigs right now. That's the biggest hole in this roster, right? Salute to you guys. Chris says, great pickup, but unfortunately I have a feeling this may mean they plan on trading Deuce McBride in a trade for a center. I think it might come to that now, Chris. Obviously, the likeliness of that is increased with this Payne move. Payne is a veteran, and he's playoff proven as well. So the Knicks do like his skill set. However, it's a low risk move, so I'm not for it. I'm not against it for Payne specifically, guys. It's the veteran minimum. So the Knicks aren't using any cap space for this. They're not using their exception. They had a roster spot and they've filled it now with a point guard who can score some as well, can shoot the three, little streaky, but obviously it's a low risk move. So, but what does that mean? Yeah, for Deuce, Kolek, I don't think is going anywhere, fam, but we'll see. JJ says he had some good moments versus us in the playoffs postseason. Yeah, he's been around a minute. Remember him in Phoenix, probably having the best years of his career, I think. But Philly, he did some okay things as well. For me, he's a fine third string point guard, right? If Deuce stays, obviously Deuce is ahead of him, and Kolek, might they want to bring him in on a little more patiently? That could be a bigger factor as well. KC, what's up? This proves McBride is on the move for a centre. And same with Drew. That's going to be the line of thinking tonight, guys. Everyone coming through the building, salute. Hope you're doing well, fam. Smash that like button. Obviously, we need a big man, guys, and we want a quality big man. So that doesn't mean we just want to get some stiff. So if we are going to move for a big man, a quality one, you have to give up to get, right? And what is the best trade chip that the Knicks could probably afford to give up, but without messing things up and without moving too many pieces around? And it's probably Deuce McBride, right? I hope I'm wrong. Once again, obviously we're all just speculating what this move means right now, but obviously we're in a holding pattern, and it's been going on for too long right now. We haven't re-signed Precious. We had interest in Walker Kessler. The asking price was reportedly too high. Jalen Duren, we got interest in him, but you have to give up something to get a player of Jalen Duren's quality, right? There's cheaper options where we could get a Nick Richards without probably giving up Deuce. I hope we lean more towards that. But obviously, look, I think in the playoffs we saw, and look, Ian Begley deserves his flowers, because when he says stuff, it's obviously based off of, realism, right? And when I say that, what I mean is, he says New York liked, among things, that Payne has playoff experience. So this tells me that the Knicks were kind of a little bit weary, I would say, of, injuries in the postseason, hopefully, getting to the postseason healthy. But if not, having more dependable guys on the end of your bench, right? So this may not necessarily mean someone's on the move, although it's more likely now. However, when you get to the playoffs, man, you need bodies and you need facilitators. As much as we love Tyler Kolek, and we're still, want to see more of him, but he's a rookie. How much is Tibbs going to trust a rookie? How much is he going to play a rookie in the postseason, right? Salute to Rick. Payne, but the playoffs, and he played with Mikal Bridges in Phoenix. Good pickup. Typical Rose, smart move. Smart. Shout out. He brings that chemistry with Mikal. Obviously, they've been admirers of him. More playmaking, more shooting as well. Luke C, salute. Space Ghost, what's up, AP? Glad to have you with us, guys. Walter Blackman in the building, and Buzzer Beater hit us with the super chat. Let's get it. Yep, the chat is popping right now. We've got the best chat in the biz. We shout you guys out. We respect your opinion. Let us know what you think of this move, and of course, comment section as well. If you can't make the live stream, we appreciate you. What are your thoughts on this move, Buzzer? Personally, my feelings towards campaign, he's a pain. I mean, that's the best way to describe it, right? When he's playing for the other team, you're like, all right, this guy can get hot, but he's, as long as he's not making a more than a veteran minimum, I'm okay with it, kind of thing. So we'll continue to talk about Payne tonight. I had more topics. I was going to go on live anyway, actually, in about 30 minutes, but this news broke, and here we are, rocking out. And of course, other big news tonight, reports Mark Stein, is that following suit, the Villanova brothers look like Mikal Bridges is next in line to take a haircut when it comes to extending in October. So Mikal Bridges is set, he's one of the next few guys in line to re-up his contract, and looks like Mikal Bridges is going to take less again for the squad, for the purpose right here. And it's not a surprise to me, but man, it sounds great. Flexibility, team building. I mean, we are built for sustainable success, fam. But it gets better. Mikal Bridge is already in the gym right now. We have some footage of him working out at the MSG training facility, right? Keeping his game ready, well oiled for when it's go time right now, putting up shots. And we have some great videos to go through as well. We heard from our Knicks summer rookies after the game. I'm going to go through some quotes. We heard from Ariel Hukporti. We heard from Tyler Kolek as well. We got our second Summer League game up tomorrow night. First of a back-to-back. We'll be live post-game tomorrow night as well, right after the game against the Brooklyn Nets to Game 2. More reactions, more overreactions to Summer League. But we're going to talk about a little bit more about Payne, right, and what he could bring to the team and what potential moves are yet to come, right? The other pressing topics are Precious Achiuwa. The reason why Precious Achiuwa hasn't re-signed, in my opinion, is because there's more moves being fielded out from both sides. But the important thing to know, guys, is Precious has interest in coming back, and the Knicks still have interest in Precious coming back, right? So if you're a big Precious fan, don't worry, because it's more than likely he'll be coming back. But if there's a bigger upgrade, that the Knicks feel, Leon Rose feels might help the team out, and we do have to part with Precious and send him to a good location in a sign and trade, I think we'll do that. So we're waiting, but yeah, Precious is one of the best free agents available, not just big men. What are your thoughts about Precious potentially coming back now with this logjam at the guard spot? Does that mean Precious slots in at the 4? We know Tibbs is a bigger fan of having Precious at the 4 versus the 5. Now, we're going to see what we could get for the big man spot. Deuce McBride. I mean, I said before, Jalen Duren would be a nice center for the future. Walker Kessler to talk that Utah, are okay keeping Kessler, but they do want to tank. Don't forget, guys, they want to wave the white flag for Cooper flag. And if you've got Lauri Markkanen and Kessler, you're probably going to try to win too many games, right? So what are your thoughts on that too? Appreciate you, Walter. Welcome in. I'm glad you could join us. To Cowboys, says, I'm not a fan of this dude. He tried to come for Jalen. I think that's the heat of the battle. But yeah, I understand, respect your opinion. I do think Payne has been a pain. Really has. But he's on our squad now. So, I mean, I can get with it, right? Obviously, whatever happened in the playoffs happened. It wasn't like he was Joel Embiid, where he pulled the dude's leg. But end of the bench, has experience and, competes. That's what you like. I think Tom Thibodeau would appreciate that. As Chris Tariq says, Payne's a dog. Yep. And Jabroni, welcome, also says, echoes that he played with Bridges for 4 seasons as well. Yeah, guys, I remember also he had his best years with behind Westbrook. Don't forget as well. Interestingly, I'm not linking him to the Knicks, but we just heard a report tonight that Westbrook is going to separate from the Clippers. So it looks like Westbrook is going to be available as well. But interestingly, that Payne had his best years with Westbrook. I think with Oklahoma, or it was one of those other teams that I forget. But nonetheless, we have a logjam now at the guard spot, and I want us to bring back Achiuwa, and I think the Knicks will. But what's up with that right now? We are talking to teams. Brook Lopez, I think, would fit our need, fam. But I think Milwaukee might be looking for something more. Would you give up Deuce McBride? Otis says Brook Lopez. What are your thoughts, guys? Out of all the bigs, I would prefer Walker Kessler. I think if I am going to give up Deuce, or if they are going to give up Deuce, I personally wouldn't. I would prefer to keep Deuce. But what else can you give up? Now that we're signing Payne, Kolek looks legit. Who do you give up to get something, man? Do you just sign a veteran minimum guy for the center position and and go back up by committee? Or do you go big name hunting, like a Jalen Duren or a Walker Kessler? I mean, Brook Lopez would make this squad one of the championship favourites, I think, in my opinion. Whether he starts or backs up Mitch, he's getting older. He can shoot it. Jay Giant says, this is interesting, man. What are we doing? You took the words out of my mouth, fam. That's exactly what I tweeted when this news just broke, that Payne is now joining the squad. But I guess the best thing, guys, he's going to be a pain for the other team. And I said at the top of the show, if you can't beat him, join him. That's something I've been talking about for a little while. I think the better the Knicks squad got, more veterans, like solid veterans, were likely to join our team. Right? That's no lie. Right? The more stacked your squad gets, the closer you're getting to winning a championship, then, veterans with some game are going to look at you like, okay, I want to be part of that. I think this Payne thing is kind of a step in that direction. He's not a huge name, but he's a guy who could probably get $5 million, once there's cap space teams still out there, and once the money's starting to dry up, he could probably get a better deal than $3 million. Obviously, if a guy like a Brook Lopez could be had on a buyout at the trade deadline, he'd be a great candidate, a veteran to come. So yeah, something is brewing, something bigger than this. Chris said I'd prefer Payne over Lowry. Yeah, Lowry's getting washed. Payne's got some game left. And yeah, something is brewing too. Donald says the news about McConnell, Jalen, Julius have all taken pay cuts is financial genius and part of the Knicks front office. I think the front office has worked the financial plan perfectly, I'm going to assume. But yeah, great words, fam. In terms of Mikal Bridges up next, right? These guys are putting their money where their mouth is, and that is the case right now. All these players in the past, LeBron, these guys wanted to flirt with the Knicks, come here or not come and take the bag. These guys are really here for the cause, right? These guys are going to go down as New York Knicks legends, man. New York City legends. And let's not forget our other guys that paved the way. Josh Hart came here. Also, Dante DiVincenzo took a pay cut, right? I'm not going to say Josh Hart took a pay cut because I think he got his 18 milli. That was probably a little more than what he was worth at the time, but his play elevated with us. But Dante, he's on 13 now. That's an underpay. That's a discount. Deuce McBride took a discount as well. Mitchie's on a great contract as well. So, OG got his bag. Let's see what's up with Julius now and Mikal. But, I would just salute those two as well if they follow in the footsteps of Jalen Brunson. I do think Precious will probably be gone in a sign and trade, fam. Hopefully that allows us to keep McBride. But yeah, I want to hear some names of centers that you guys would either want to give up Deuce for, or hopefully we could get without giving up Deuce McBride. I do know Tibbs loves Precious. Precious loves playing for the New York Knicks. Grew up in the Bronx, got family at the Bronx, shout out. And I think Precious Achiuwa enjoyed playing for the Knicks. He played hard. He loves his teammates. I think outside of that, it might just be financial. Might be role with other teams available. Detroit has still got a lot of cap space left. I don't think you're going to leave the Knicks for Detroit unless it's really worth your while. However, if it is a solid deal, I think you'll be back. Right? Precious at the 4, ideally. He's not a great 5. Let's be real. He gives up a lot of size. He's a pretty good rebounder, but he gives up a lot of size too. But he's more mobile. I guess that's the trade-off too. Yep. I like what Spaceco says here. Detroit has been a really willing trade partner for the New York Knicks in the past too. Goes back to days with Scott Perry, the former executive with both clubs as well. There's a lot of respect there too. And I think, fam, I think it's easier to do deals with teams that aren't competing, right? When you're two teams competing, making trades with each other is a little more tricky. Although if you're Danny Ainge, he just makes things difficult, period. But he's a pain. But what's good, Tim? Let's get it. Kerry, so you think this could be more Kolek develops more slowly, campaign can be the third string. One thing's for sure, man, it doesn't look like Rokas is going to come, right? Maybe Rokas is a part of a trade deal. Guys, let's not forget about him as a trade chip. He's showcasing his game now in the Summer League. A lot of fans weren't high on what they saw with Rokas Jokubaitis in Game 1. Now, Rokas is more expendable than Deuce, let's be real. Deuce is more valuable to us, especially on his contract. And Rokas might be as valuable to other teams, and here's why. Rokas hasn't been signed yet, so there's no salary commitment. So the New York Knicks can just trade his rights to a team. So Rokas Jokubaitis could be a trade chip on the go with maybe Precious to get another big man, right? But all in all, man, I've got to give this campaign move a grade for what it means right now, and we're still going to wait for more moves to come, but I'm going to give it a solid B, right? No risk, so that eliminates okay, you might not be a fan of campaign, I get it, but for the New York Knicks, it's no risk, right? Veterans minimum, it makes someone else more expendable. Injuries happen, and I mean the guy can play, the guy can shoot. You're not going to find many third string point guards better than campaign. So look, Leon knows what he's doing, right? That's why I give it a B, right? It's not an A, it's not a home run, it's a single or a double. So get on my level. Appreciate you guys. The chat is buzzing. Apologies if I don't get to all your comments, but I'm reading it. I do read on the replay as well, and appreciate your thoughts. But the Knicks squad, man, we're getting closer to that championship contention, or championship. We're in contention. And I do think moves like this on the margins do come back to help when all's said and done, right? Late May, late June, when you're competing for that chip and bodies go down, tempers are flaring, things of that nature, it helps to have veterans on the bench. That's what I kind of criticized the front office a little bit last season, that they didn't fill the end of the bench as well as they could. And I think that's probably the only criticism you could have. There was Jake Toppin, Washington, there was Shake Milton, Diakite, Daquan Jeffries, a lot of great guys, but not guys that we were, there to depend upon. Now, Leon Rose has learned, I think, from that. So that's what I take from this move, fam. Nicken and Hicken wants us to get JaVale McGee. Look, it might come to that. Hopefully not. I think there's better options, but, he's another veteran. What's up, Jean Chiril? Salute. Brian, what's up? Kessler is unobtainable, says Kerry, because of Danny Ainge. Yeah, I'm not willing to play his game of poker. Let's be real. He just wants to drag things out, to get the best possible deal for Utah. And I mentioned before, teams that aren't contending, they don't have anything to lose, right? They can just hold out to get the best deal for a Walker Kessler, Larry Markkinen. He's basically like Jerry Maguire saying, show me the money, where, somebody has to blow him away. And I hope it's not the New York Knicks, but it's tough, man. I think we can put together a very solid package. I think where if he is more reasonable, we could get a deal done. But if something can be had with Detroit for Jalen Duren for a more reasonable price, then I would do that. And here's where things are at with Detroit and Jalen Duren. He's young. They're a young building team. He's on a rookie deal still. And they're open to moving him for something, a value in the future. The Knicks could offer seconds. They could offer a pick swap in 2030. We could throw in Precious Achiuwa in a sign and trade. And then, of course, last but not least, we could throw in Rocas. And then last but not least, Deuce McBride might need to go, if you are wanting to beef up the center spot, right? We're in a tricky spot, right? We all love Mitch and the game he has. I think starting center and a very good one, but we need more depth in that spot, right? And if he misses time, we're in a real bad spot, So I don't think Leon Rose is going to go into the season with that level of vulnerability at the big man spot. Of course, Julius is coming off a shoulder injury as well. Precious is the best at the 4. Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti, right? The less said, the better. In terms of, those guys being heavily relied on, I think those guys can continue to develop, but we need more proven big man, right? I know you guys, there's a big Walker Kessler hive out there. Give us your best offer, right? I'll pretend to be Danny Ainge. If you really want Walker Kessler, give me your best offer, and I'll go through it too. But I do think Jalen Duren is probably the most gettable with this situation. You guys mentioned Detroit. They're a more willing dealer. They've got a new guy out there. I think Troy Langdon as well. They've got a new coach. Well, maybe they will just want to go in a different direction. But, hey, if we could keep Precious, then I'm down for that too. But in terms of the squad, right, guys are taking pay cuts, right? And it's perfect because we're going to avoid being capped at the second apron. Most likely now we can control that for the next few years. Bridges will get an extension by October, reporting. Mark Stein is very, very credible, and I believe this. Obviously, we got news well before it happened that Jalen Brunson was going to highly consider the pay cut or signing early. Now Mikal is set to follow as well. So we're buzzing with that news. Let's throw some flowers their way, fam. They don't need a GoFundMe, but I think, these guys are really putting their money where their mouth is too. And what a squad we have now. You're talking about a backcourt third string of Tyler Kolek and Cameron Payne. Now, a little undersized, of course, but I'll tell you what, I was impressed by Jake Toppin in the first Summer League game, and we'll find out more tomorrow. Christy says, I want Sengun. Yep, join the queue. He would be a great pickup, but yeah, he would be very, very expensive. I don't think you're getting him without at least giving up Mitch. And they might want Randle in it, maybe a different kind of deal to King of Bling, not a fan of the deal, says New York bumped their head with this one. Yep. You guys are throwing some shade at Danny Ainge. I appreciate that. Walker Kessler, he wants to get out of there. From what I heard, Walker Kessler wants a fresh start. Right. Will Danny Ainge let Walker Kessler free? Will he set him free? He wants to get out of there. He wants a fresh start. He wants to be on a contender. Pacome Daddier, I think he's going to be third string. I'm glad that we didn't stash him. He needs to practice with the squad, develop. His defense looks more NBA ready than advertised, but his offense is still, a work in progress, which is fine. He's a 18-year-old kid, and he will show signs and flashes. And look, he'll be a draw in Westchester too. But I tell you what, you guys might be onto something too with the Bridges campaign connection. We got the Villanova guys there, guy. Maybe we went and got our newest Nick, his guy, with Mikal Bridges now getting a 4-year teammate, Cameron Payne. Also, I heard today the noise about Ryan Arcidiacono joining the squad, right? I don't see that happening right now. Maybe if a Deuce does get traded, but it's hard to see with Cameron Payne now on the Knicks, right? No room for Ryan Arcidiacono, I'm sorry, right? There's only so many Villanova guys that, we could handle, right? But I respect that. I know he's JB's guy, right? And look, JB took his pay cut, so if the man wants Ryan Arcidiacono, I'm sure Leon will find a way, but maybe he'll be a part of a training camp deal and, to help him out, give him some little coin on the side. Georgie says, yes, CT, he will, but for a hefty price. Yeah. Sangoon. Brian says Taco Fall is available somewhere in China. What do you guys think about Boban? Right, the big man, the big man, Boban Marjanovic, right? Would you be okay with him, right, filling an end of the bench spot too? Look, I think Jalen Duren would fit this squad really well. He's so athletic. He's been underwhelming. I guess that could be a reason you could get him cheaper. You can't have it all. If a guy is a cheaper price, it's probably because, he comes with some kind of, weaknesses. But with Jalen Duren, right, he fits the squad in terms of the athleticism. He can play 4 and 5. He's got potential. He's got big upside as well. But yeah, Walker Kessler, I think, experience-wise and game would be ideal as well. But look, man, unfortunately he's in Utah, so what can we do? But look, Leon Rose is cooking. He's in the lab still, and still looking to upgrade the squad. He's going all these extensions one by one. Brunson's now tick. Looks like Randle in August, I expect to get extended, by the way. I haven't changed my mind. I think Julius Randle will end up extending. It might not happen in August. It might take a little bit more time, but he's extension eligible from starting in August. Next up, Tom Thibodeau. I think Tom Thibodeau will get an extension as well. James Dolan is writing out these checks. But, obviously Precious Achiuwa, that's the next order of business. There's only going to be so many teams with cap space left, right? It's sign and trade or it's stay, right? And Precious wants to stay. And the Knicks want Precious to stay as well by reports. But they view him as a 4. They don't view Precious Achiuwa as a long-term 5 solution. So that is good, right? That is good that the Knicks are still searching. We're still intending to get a big man for the 5, right? Precious looks like to be a solid backup 4. I want us to get a much bigger 5. We know Tibbs likes those rebounding, rim protecting guys, set good screens too. Yeah, I saw that. Ryan Sims is working on his game. Shout out to him. Let's see. It'll be a pleasant surprise, but it'll be very welcome if Sims can come in and give us something. Look, the thing about Sims is he's here, he's under contract, and he's young, or reasonably young. I know he's going on 26 now, and he's third string, so if needed, we're going to call his name, but I think we're looking to make bigger noise. I did see that as well. Bob says, why not re-sign Randle before Bridges? Yeah, I think Randle will come before Bridges. August, Randle, Bridges, October. I think. But the news is just leaking out that Bridges will take a discount as well. Dwayne, what's up? Payne, terrific backup. I think third string, definitely a terrific third string, solid backup, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll talk about his game a little bit more. He can shoot the three, so you've got to respect his game from the 3-point line. We know he can penetrate and get to the paint as well. So yeah, terrific depth move for the veteran minimum. Ryan says, man, keep Deuce. Yep, I'm praying. I'm praying that Deuce can stay. I really like Deuce, and I think Tibbs loves Deuce as well. It's just the roster has an imbalance, right? And, you know, you got to give up to get. So, you know, I want to get your thoughts, guys. Let me know if it means we could get a Duran or a Kessler to give up Deuce. Would you do it, right? What are your other options? Save Deuce and sign a cheaper option. You know, Nick Richards, you know, another one of these other veteran bigs out there. Swing another deal involving Mitch or Sims and Rokas. Let me know, guys. I think the most likely thing is that we do end up making a trade now for a big, whether it's including Rokas, Precious first, and then maybe Deuce if it's a bigger name. One thing I do believe that the front office and Leon will be reluctant to give up Deuce for is because I think you want to save him for maybe a bigger move if that comes down the line, right? The season's got to play out, get to the trade deadline, and there's going to be a lot more options available, you know. Players will be on the block, you know, a center might be unhappy, you know, another team might lose a point guard, and you might be able to get more for a Deuce McBride later in the future. I think giving up Deuce now doesn't make sense to me because, you know, he's a huge chip and he's a huge piece. So if you could do it by giving up Precious and Rokas, Sims, picks, then I'd be down for that first. Born to be Hated echoes the same thing. I think the only way to get a good center is to trade Deuce. Unfortunately, the 2 protected first could be worth nothing. Yep. You said it. John says with Randle, the team is going to be lights out. No more double teams. Yeah, I love that. I think Julius is staying. You know, I've said that before. I think, you know, I don't want to address the cat stuff so much, but I do think it's worthwhile saying this. I think there's always links to players, right? But how many of these links actually play out, right? Don't forget, it was long linked that the Knicks were going to get Zion and that he was Leon's target, right? Did that ever happen? And then Devin Booker. There was talk that, you know, Devin Booker was number 1 in Leon's eyes, you know, and we were gonna hold out for him. That never happened. And then there was talk about Spider Mitchell, that, oh, he's coming. You know, Donovan Mitchell's the guy. You know, Leon's going to get him. And that hasn't happened yet. So with these links, with Cat, you know, don't believe it until it happens, right? You know, in terms of, like, there's links a lot. And most of the time, those links never happen. So in my opinion, it's not worth getting, you know, too much, you know, attention and you know, getting too deep into it with Cat, because right now he's on Minnesota, you know, and it doesn't look like anything's going to happen with that. We've been linked with Cat for 5 years. Nothing's ever happened, right? And I think the best example is Donovan Mitchell, right? Everyone thought we were going to get Donovan Mitchell, but here we are. You know, he's in Cleveland, and we're here with Mikal Bridges now as well. Now, plans can change, of course, but I think it's strictly attached to Julius's contract negotiations. You know, Julius is going to get an extension one way or the other, and you know, I think it's obviously a part of that. If the deal gets done early in August, then that'll provide this team a lot of clarity heading into the season, which I like. Richard says we don't need a cat when we have a bunch of dogs on the Knicks. Yep, I agree. I think Cat brings some skills, some finesse, but he doesn't do it for Tibbs. I think that the energy, the hustle, the rebounding, even rim protection is non-existent as well. Nick says, why do we assume Mitchie can't be moved for someone to... I'm certainly not ruling it out, but I just think it's a little less likely that because we want to add more depth to our big man, rather than subtract. But if there's a world where we could get a clear starting center who's younger and more durable, I think they would be open to trading Mitch. I just think he's probably less likely. What's up, 19 Con Man, NYC 84? Salute. The Payne signing is a signal that we are trading for a center and gives Kolek 1 year to take over. Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking at it that way now, and it's hard not to, fam. I mean, look at that guard rotation right now, and then look at the big man rotation. It's completely imbalanced, and that's what Leon Rose is doing with this move, right? Right. If you are going to lose someone, why not stock up with a campaign in that area, the point guard, right? And look, we saw campaign firsthand in the playoffs too. He's a pest, right? He can pick you up full court. He can get to the rim. He's got a quick first step, and he's another lefty too, man. We are stacking up the lefties. What are your thoughts on that, fam? Kolek's a lefty. Campaign's a lefty. Brunson's a lefty, right? Is Deuce the odd one out right now? Do you need to be a lefty to be on the squad? Right, it's insane. Rokas is a lefty as well. Let's not forget that. Yeah, Tariq, the Tibbs cat fit, I just can't see it. I just can't see it right now. And obviously, we'll wait to see what plays out with Randle's extension. He's a much better fit for Tibbs, in my opinion. And look, Jalen Duren could be the guy that we look at, we bring in and we develop. He could develop into a shooter, as well. Not to the level of Cat, of course. Georgie says, at this point, CT, I don't want anything else added to this team, but bench pieces, especially a bench center. I think that's the most likely thing. Outside of that, could be a starting center, or another starting center. But yeah, not much needs to be added. I agree with you. We are 90% complete, right? And it's like you're Thanos with the gauntlet. You've added all the infinity stones, and you're about to click the finger. You're about to click, and about to turn it up and win the championship. Optimus 2G says, yeah, it could be a better move to wait in season. Yep. I think now's not the time to panic, or get fleeced. Not that these guys are ever used to getting fleeced. But, we walked away from Danny once. We'll do it again too. So let's do what's best for us. Get another big man, but don't overpay. Basically. Anthony, why would the Pistons want to give up a 20-year-old center? Great question. They do have a logjam, fam. They've got, they spent a lot of money on Stewart, and Duren is a little bit out of favor, with them. They weren't impressed with his second season. I'll keep it at that. They're not. I don't think they're looking to give him away for nothing, but I do think he could be had. From what I'm hearing, I think the Pistons will be open to letting Duren leave. Yeah, Isaiah Beef Stewart, man, he came back on a brand new deal, so that could be something, that makes Duren more expendable for another piece. Don't forget, Detroit needs shooting, man. Cade can't shoot. You know, a lot of their other guys they picked up can't shoot as well. So, yeah, that is something to pay attention to, right? But looks like Mikal Bridges is going to take a pay cut as well when that deal comes, right? And that's setting this team up in the best possible way. Right now, these guys are really committed. It's all in. So that's fantastic. We talked about that. Continue to let me know what options you think the Knicks should go for, whether it's Duran, Kessler, Brook Lopez, or Nick Richards, right? But Leon Rose is going to do something right now. He is going to get those guys in the building. One of them, I feel, right? And getting this campaign move kind of sets the table a little bit more now with the guard depth. And I think they're big fans of Tyler Kolek. You know, they've from what we've heard, he's been in the gym since the draft day, next day after, and he's been practicing with Dice and the summer squad, and I think he's been really impressing the New York Knicks. They feel like he's ready to give backup minutes. So could that mean he plays a little bit at the 1, Deuce at the 2? That could happen. I mean, Deuce is a great off-ball player, great at shooting it, can bring the ball up the court as well. Not a playmaker to the level of Kolek, but those two could still play together. Maybe Devo can play the 3. Hart plays a little bit of backup 4. I know he doesn't like that, but Tibbs is open to playing Hart at the 4 as well. And then you got Pac Daddy and also Bates-Diop, who I think in time Pacome could probably play some 4 as he gets a bit stronger. He is 6'9", but Bates-Diop is a real 4, a real stretch 4, backup 4. And so I think Precious coming back would likely, be the backup 4 to start with. And I think we'll get another big man. We'll get another center, right? Don't forget, we could still trade Sims. We could trade some picks, seconds and swaps. And we could also trade Rokas as well. So we don't have to give up Deuce McBride, I think. But if you do want a better name, it's probably going to be, someone who the other team asks for, when we're talking about these tough negotiations for him. But look, I'm looking forward to this next Summer League game tomorrow night, back-to-back. Nets Kings, and then we play the Pistons, right? Don't forget, these GMs are in Vegas together, and they're all mingling with each other. They're talking deals and breaking bread. So Leon Rose is really trying to push this thing forward now to complete the roster, right? Anytime, right? What do you grade this Cameron Payne pickup? Right, let me know your thoughts. I gave it a B, I think. Pretty solid addition for third string backup, but can step in if there's injuries. Now, we are fully insured should, someone go down, whether it's Deuce, Kolek. If somebody gets injured, Campaign can come in and do some things. So, other noteworthy stuff is that Ian Begley says Knicks also had interest in free agent point guard Tyus Jones, right? He's legit, right? And so, if the Knicks had interest in him, it's probably because they were willing to move off of someone, right? Right. Let's keep it real. Tyus Jones is one of the best backup point guards in the league. So if the Knicks had interest in him, they've been looking at this guard spot for a minute, right? Kolek's still here. Deuce is here. Now they've got Payne. So they've obviously been circling the guard depth, And does that mean that Deuce is more expendable? Right? I think it does. That could be something that the Knicks are leaning towards. We'll see. We'll see on that front. But we're going to look at some quotes now from these summer rooks. Knicks 25-26 champ says a B as well. Yep. Prezi says, still don't understand where all these minutes are coming from. Sims is the backup center right now. I think Sims is more third string in my opinion, but I think the front office will be okay playing him to begin. But I do think we are light. We are light at the big man spot. We need more depth. To Salute 19 gives it a C. JM3 says a decent signing. Yeah, it's decent. Right, he's not going to set the world on fire. But what this does is it sets the table for the next move. Now, you know, and there's a reason why Precious hasn't come back yet. Right, so we're waiting on that domino to fall. But for me, what's impressive is the third string depth now. I mean, Kolek, I would trust him tomorrow if I needed to throw him out there for 10 minutes. You know, obviously Payne's playoff proven. You know, Dadier, we'll see how he continues to develop in Summer League, but his defense looks, you know, encouraging. Keita Bates-Diop can defend, he can shoot it. Jericho Sims has plenty of NBA experience as well. So, I mean, you're not going to find many rosters in the league with a better third string unit. You know, especially I think the backcourt is our strength now. I mean, our greatest strength, right? Look how we bat 3 deep in terms of Bridges, DiVincenzo, and Payne, Brunson, Deuce, and Kolek. I mean, that's a log jam. Let's keep it real, in a good way. So I think that gives us flexibility to play around a little bit. Also that I just thought of, guys, is with the campaign move, right? It means that should the deadline come, campaign could be a trade chip for a team that needs a veteran point guard. Don't forget about that, fam. So let's look at it like this. The New York Knicks had a veteran spot on the roster to fill anyway, right? They had to fill, you got to get to 14 bodies, right? So with campaign, why not sign a guy like him who has some value around the league for a veteran minimum, and then come December, January, February, you know, you need to grease the wheels on a trade. Cameron Payne could be, you know, he could be a guy who facilitates something as well. So very smart move for Leon Rose in that way. If that happens, I'll give it a B+, in my opinion. So I think smart move for that. AP says hit those like buttons. Appreciate you guys as well. Right, the best chat in the biz is popping right now. The Knicks made, I would say, a minor move, but it was welcome. I think this could facilitate something bigger. Salute none other. What's up? Buzzerbeater says, how do you feel about OG and iHeart getting a bag while Jalen Brunson and McConnell are taking a pay cut? I'm okay with it. It's a great question, man. I think in the locker room, I think you know, it's hard not to respect those guys more. You know, they're clearly leaders. You know, leaders lead by actions, right? You know, they've been in the league for a while now, and it's about winning, right? You don't do this unless you want to win badly. You know, you want to win before money, right? Jalen Brunson's he's not a dude that, you know, is a flashy guy. He's not looking to, you know, to roll out there with all the bling. You know, he's a guy who just wants to win. He's got a chip on his shoulder. You know, he's been disrespected his whole life in terms of playing career. And now those guys know what it takes to win on the court and off the court, right? And they'll go down as New York legends when it's all said and done. Looking in terms of OG, he's injury prone. So you understand him, you know, you understand him getting the bag. And with OG, he's won a championship. So it's like when you go through the list of your career goals, when you've won a championship, that's a tick. The next goal is to just get paid. You know, the next goal is to make sure that you can maximize your earnings, right? You've won a championship before already, so I think that's the mindset. And with Isaiah, he's injury prone as well. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it, and I respect those guys more than ever. To yeah, we've got the chat buzzing. I respect all your opinions as well. I definitely read the chat after the show as well and appreciate you guys, but I might not be able to get to everything. The chat's buzzing right now. Just know that I'm reading it, and I might not be able to get through it all. But yeah, basically everyone's on a 30-second. The chat is on slow, so it's not anybody who has been, restricted. The chat is on slow at the minute because I want to get through as many comments as I can. Right, nobody's on a restriction right now, so let's be clear on that. Right, it's 30 seconds delay for everybody right now. 007 Angelo, how you been, fam? What's up? Salute. We're gearing up to take it all next season. Go Knicks. We are, man. If the East ain't shook, right, wait till December, right? I think we might be number 1 seed, get off to a great start. Look at the chemistry that these guys are going to bring in terms of deals being signed now. Imagine if Bridges and Randle go into the season with their deals signed, sealed and delivered too. Don't forget we saw James Dolan courtside the other night in Vegas, sitting next to Leon, Tibbs. He was dapping up Obi. Now's the time where Dolan really can complete the job, right? And I say that in a way where, like, Dolan is obviously, he's been maligned. He's done mistakes in the past, but now here we are, and now he has the ability to do the job. Pay everybody, pay the tax, keep this thing together, give Tibbs an extension, give Leon an extension when it comes, and just keep this train rolling, express, fam. And I said the other day, we don't want to win one. I think, to Buzz's question, why you take a pay cut like that, and Bridges also, is to win multiple championships, right? They don't just want to win one. They want to win 2, 3, 4, and have the best possible chance. So that's our gift right now. That's their gift to us. Let's just take it, appreciate it, and enjoy it. We've had some bad product in the past, and this is the complete opposite too. Optimus says this is a chess game. Knicks could very well be setting themselves up for an in-season trade when it'll be easier to make a trade. Yep. Getting guys like veterans like Payne helps you, facilitate better deals. To Cody, great point. Knicks could stay more fresh with these guys as well. Yep. Look at the backcourt, man. I mean, Payne could be a backup on. He could be the number 1 backup on probably 25 NBA teams. Maybe every single NBA team. I think he's a solid backup for that. Obviously, Tyus Jones is one of the best backups. We had interest in him, but we've got now Kolek, who can develop without the pressure. Now with Payne, let's not play Jalen Brunson, 38 minutes every night. We could probably lower his minutes down to 33, 34 even. What do you guys think? What are your minutes preference for a Jalen Brunson now with all these guards? We know Mikal Bridges can handle the ball some as well. What's up, Miguel? We need any big with experience that can defend the paint. Yeah, I would lean towards Walker Kessler. I think Duran is still a little unproven, but you love the upside. Brook Lopez obviously brings that experience. Probably concerns over his durability. I think would make Brook Lopez less likely. I think if you've got those questions with Mitch, best not to add to that. I think with a Brook Lopez, I think the Knicks will be looking to get younger and more durable. Like you said, someone who can protect the rim and rebound. Nicken and Hicken says Omer Yurtseven, 6'11". He's been out there a while now, fam, and I think if the Knicks were interested in him, I think they would have done that deal. So, I think the Knicks might be looking for bigger names right now. Jamie says Payne replaces Burks on the depth chart. Yeah, Burks is gone, so he basically takes that spot too. Also, I was going to talk tonight about the interest in Landry Shamet and Davers Bertans too, right? This was what I was going to bring up before the campaign deal happened. I just refreshed the roster. There was interest in in Landry Shamet and Davers Bertans, right? Shamet would have replaced Bogey's minutes. However, now we've got campaign in the building, so I think it would be a no for Landry Shamet, right? He probably accepted a different, another offer. He was probably looking to take the Knicks 5.2 million, which the Knicks might be saving as well, right? Leon Rose is forward thinking, guys. He will think about the trade deadline, buyout market, all of those things. If the Knicks do save their 5.2 million exception, it'll be for the buyout market, I think, to get someone legit. There's no need to spend that right now because there's no legit free agent. There's nobody worth spending that 5.2 on for. That's a big man, and we don't need anything else. That's not a big man, right? I don't want us to waste the spot on another wing when we've already got plenty of wings and of course guard as well. So let it be a big next, and hopefully it's a good one. Right? What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on that. Right? I want to also bring up some quotes. Right? We heard from Ariel Hukporti after the game. We heard from Tyler Kolek in terms of his skill sets as well, and being compared to TJ McConnell. Right? That is something that is, a lazy comparison that he called. I'm going to bring this up on the screen, and I will continue buzzing with the best chat in the biz. Let me extend this thing out, right? So some Knicks beat writers and some media spoke to the Summer Knicks after the game, right? This is on our postingandtoasting.com. Salute to them and the great work they're doing. Kolek, man, our guy said on being compared to TJ McConnell, he said it's all right. I think it's a little lazy, right? I respect that. This guy wants his own name, right? He doesn't want to be compared to TJ McConnell. He wants to be Tyler Kolek, right? I think Kolek is probably going to be more of a facilitator, maybe a better shot maker, I think, than TJ McConnell. He can hit the three. He says, I admire McConnell, but Brunson's game, I feel like that's a little closer to what I like to do than TJ. Play at my own pace, getting in the paint, getting guys involved as well. I can really learn from him in the midi and in the short area when coming off ball screens or ISOs. I'm also really excited to learn from him and watch him take in as much as I can. On competing with Brunson, Kolek said, I think I can definitely run the show and get guys involved, but at the end of the day, it's whatever the team needs. Whatever Jalen asks me to do, I'm going to follow his lead, right? Of course, that's his rook, right? Jalen Brunson has got a rook to take under his wing right now. And on having that best teammate to learn from, he says it's just playing under control, picking angles, getting to the line as well. So that's amazing to hear on that front, man. And I think that's going to be a relationship that blossoms. With that said, man, Tyler Kolek has got the best point guard to learn from and Jalen Brunson. 007 says, we all know we have to practically drag JB off the court. That's why we love him so much, man. He's a true warrior. Yep. You said it, man. I think for the guy who had knocks on him defensively, the fact that he takes so many charges and gets it going, turns the defense into offense. Patrick says, will Tibbs go deeper into the bench and use the bench more, given Mitch and OG's history? I would say that's something we all want to see, you know, and I hopefully that's true. Hopefully that is, you know, Tibbs will have never had a roster this good. You know, obviously big man spot, big holes to fill, but everything else is as deep as Tibbs has ever seen, right? And don't even discount Pacome Dadier to develop as the season goes in Westchester, and he might be ready for spot minutes if he can be solid defensively. Also, Keita Bates-Diop, you know, is a solid veteran with respect around the league. Too. So we're reacting to the campaign signing tonight, talking about what's next and Summer League, guys. Big time chat buzzing. Please smash that like button as well. Bringing you the latest Knicks content right now, post games tomorrow and the day after against the Nets and the Kings as well, and some guests lined up to talk about our rookies during Summer League. Now, let's hear what Ariel Hukporti had to say to the media as well. And then we'll talk about Pacome Dadier as well. So, Ariel Hukporti, for those of you that don't know, is a German native, right? And he is friends with former big man Isaiah Ihart, right? Obviously, he was looking forward to playing with Isaiah. And then he said, when I saw the money, I laughed. So those guys have known each other for a while. On getting advice from Isaiah, Hukporti said, I talked to Hartenstein a lot. He used to watch my high school games, so it's actually good. We've been in connection. I've been talking to him. He's been giving me some advice, right? And he's going to keep talking to him. So he asked Isaiah, now that I'm playing for New York, could I take number 55 as well? So that's good. And on things he feels like he can improve, he said, definitely. I feel like I just have to get used to the game a little bit more, the pro game, making the right reads, and be in the system more. I feel like I could definitely fit in. Well, he said everyone's positive in Summer League, coaching staff's great, trying to improve his game. Everyone's trying to get to know each other. Practice has been great too. Before camp started, he was with Tyler Kolek just to get used to each other, pick and roll, chemistry. So there you have it, guys. Right before camp started, after the draft, Kolek and Hukporti got together to practice the pick and roll and defense and getting used to the system. Well, Tyler's a great point guard, moves the ball, looks for people. So I love playing with him. Tibbs was there too, watching us. It was great. So that's awesome to hear, guys. You know, Kolek and Hukporti working out with Tibbs in the facility, right? Could Tibbs, the center whisperer, you know, elevate Hukporti's game at some point throughout the season? Right, he's a third string backup at the minute, fourth string. Let's see if he impresses for the rest of the Summer League too. He said the moment they were both signed, they were told straight away to get to the gym the next day, and that was good to hear as well. So as soon as the rookies signed their deal, they were told to get to the facility the next day and start working out. He's excited to play for Tibbs. I love coaches who want to win. I love coaches who push their players. Of course, sometimes when he screams at you as a player, you might not take it. You might take it personally, but from his side, he's trying to get you better. I'm excited to play for Tibbs. He's kind of similar to my coach back in Berlin, you feel like you've got to earn your minutes. Defensive coach, I'm excited. So there we have it, man. The defensive big man appreciating the defensive coach. Two. Buzzer says, are all our injured players on track to start the season? Everyone except for McConnell, I think, fam. Right now, the word is yet to be fully announced on his situation, but I think he'll probably be ready for the start of the season. We are still a little bit ways out, but yeah, Randle will be Gucci. I think basically everyone else is good. Prezi says hopefully Bates-Diop heals up properly so he can replace Precious's role. Sims can play power forward and center as well. Yeah, Bates-Diop can give us more depth. I think that was a good throw-in that trade. Now let's talk about what Daddy A had to say, right? So he's getting used to the three-point line, right? Being deeper than the Europe court. So I have to push my legs a little bit more, I guess. And he said, I felt the difference. It was way faster than Europe. Everything. It's just not conditioning. It's the way you have to find your position on the court. Everything is just faster. You have to make quicker decisions. Yep, so Pacome, I think he held his own. I think in the first game, I think he was solid. So, yeah, good to hear quotes from those guys. And we'll talk more about the campaign situation moving forward now. But Summer League Game 2, man, I'm excited. Right, we haven't seen a roster full of rooks in the Summer League for a minute now like this, man. We got wings, right? We got enough wings to get us through a season and lock up those boys in Boston. I look forward to seeing Julius, man. I must admit, I have missed seeing Julius Randle out there, right? John says, sorry, with Randle, they would have had crushed the Pacers. He's not going anywhere. I think his game is built to bring double teams, help with the offense, rebounding we missed, the physicality. So yeah, that is something that is definitely going to be a huge addition to this squad, right? We know OG's versatile. You know, he can play the 2, 3, 4, 5, but more of these guys are interchangeable, right? What's a lineup that you're looking forward to seeing, right? Let me know, and we'll shout it out, right? We are very versatile. Bridges can run some offense as well as the lead ball handler as well. Does that make Deuce McBride more expendable, right? To go back to the main topic, acquiring Cameron Payne from free agency now, I think it's a very solid move for Leon Rose, right? I'm not the biggest campaign guy, but I could see the vision with this move. He offers penetration, he can break down the defense, and he can spot up and shoot the three. Also, just going to check how old he is right now, because Campaign is 29, right? He'll be 30 in August. So yeah, Campaign still under 30, still has a lot left in his game, and he's coming to the Knicks for a discount. Yep. So we've got David in the building, as always, letting us know his thoughts. Right, I know your thoughts, David, and be respectful in the chat, everyone. Everyone's got their opinions. Randle, I think, contractually is looking to get, security, and I think the Knicks obviously are very loyal. I don't see Randle leaving. I know there's that talk about the cat situation. I just don't see that happening. And I made examples before. There was Zion, there was Booker, there was Spider, there was Embiid at one point. I mean, these guys tried to link Leon Rose to every single guy, and none of them happened. Who did we end up getting? Jalen Brunson. Nobody really, thought he was going to be our main target. OG Anunoby, people thought we wouldn't deal with the Raptors. We got that done. And then Mikal Bridges, people thought we would never be able to get that deal done. And Leon's done that. So, I do think that Leon Rose, there's a lot of misdirection and a lot of distraction, right? David says campaign good signings. So you like the campaign move? Yeah, it's no risk. It's a no risk move for me. But yeah, the chat is pro Randle at this point. David is more move Randle. So we know your thoughts on that. AP says Brunson didn't take a pay cut. He's making more than he did last year. Not everyone gets a chance to become a franchise guy. Yeah, there's been a lot of ways you could look at it. You know, people looking at it like he got security. Some people saying, yeah, it's a risk that he left a lot of money on the table. I think either way you look at it, you just got to admire the way he's going about it. I think that's just the best way to look at it, guys. He's putting the franchise first. You know, I don't like to talk about a guy's pocket so much because, you know, that's his decision. What I'm cool with is, are you putting the franchise, you know, in the best possible position? And that's a big, big yes for me and these guys. Now, in terms of what Leon's doing, he's acquiescing, you know, and he's helping these guys out with bodies, with depth, and abilities to you know, support any injuries moving forward. I said before, we struggled after losing Bogey, you know, Hart's injury, OG, Mitchie. Obviously now we're in a better situation, right? We are batting 3 deep at most positions, right? But we're bringing in this big addition, which is McConnell, right? He's working out in the facility. I want to talk a little bit more about his game because he had experience running an offense in Brooklyn. And I think whilst that didn't go great because Brooklyn suck and, you know, he didn't have many other options, and McCall's not you know, an ideal number one. But I think now coming to the Knicks, you know, falling back in line to the second or third option on different nights is going to, you know, make things a lot smoother. So he can create his shot, he can pull up from 3, he can space it out in the corner and play lockdown defense and doesn't need the ball. So I think his value to us is greater than any other team when you look at the guys who can create their shots, right? When you're talking about Jalen Brunson, Randle, OG, right, I think McCall's the perfect complement, right? With that said, he could also run sets off the bench, right? He could play next to Deuce and make the backcourt a little bigger, you know? He could play next to Hart, DiVincenzo as well. We could go plus size if we like. So much versatility with this. But obviously Kolek campaign provide additional support to the backcourt now. And I want to see what they can do. Key to Bates-Diop. I really like that pickup as well because he can stroke it. He's got some length too. L. Duke Brown, what's up? Says good pickup, should not affect Deuce's minutes. Hopefully. And it won't with campaign, but it might affect a potential trade in the future. What are your thoughts on that? Trey Robinson, salute. The more vets and depth, the better they match up against Boston. Yeah, you said it. And Philly. Let's not forget Philly added Gordon. They added Martin back. They've added more guys too. Kyle Lowry's coming back. Kelly Oubre. I think we are deeper. We are deeper than them, I think. Kenny Payne, if you can't beat him, join him. Right. I thought it was going to be Lowry to join the Nova boys, but it ends up being Payne splitting from Philly. Right. Don't forget, he's going to bring those Philly secrets. Right. Cameron Payne was in battle with those boys in Philly against us. Now he's on our side. So could Payne bring some intel in terms of the Nick Nurse playbook? Right. the Nick Nurse playbook, and in terms of wanting to win, right? I respect that. We beat him, we beat them, and now he joins us too. It's basically like we stole a piece from Philly. I think that's the best way to look at it from Leon's perspective. Is I made Philly a weaker team. We're taking Payne off their team, and also Payne is a trade chip at the deadline. So now Payne's going to stay, guys. For now, we can't trade him for 6 months. So Cameron Payne won't be traded anytime soon. He has to stay until December. But after that, all bets are off, fam. But predicting the next move, I think it's either going to be a Precious Achiuwa sign and trade, or maybe Rocas, Sims, some picks as the next best option. And then the last resort is Deuce McBride, right, to get a guy in, right? I would hate to lose Deuce. If it gets us a quality big man in the likes of a Walker Kessler, I think I would be more open to considering it. I would still prefer to keep Deuce, but Leon Rose, I trust what he's doing. I mean, I hate to be the one to make that decision, but the fact that we got Payne now makes things more, amenable, I think. Look, Mitchie, he's gonna have some injuries throughout the season. Hopefully not, but based on the history, I think we got to prepare for that. Johnny says I'm in Payne. David says taking Payne from the Sixers was genius. Yep, like I said. Also, Paula says good bench piece. Dustin says, are we now going to trade McBride? I think you could speculate it's more likely that we could trade Deuce in the future now that we have a campaign. Kolek looks really good, but nothing's imminent. I will say I've not heard the Knicks' direction changing. Last time Ian Begley did say that the Knicks would not like to move Deuce, but we know plans can change. We are getting a little desperate in terms of the big man position, right? I'm not saying we're desperate. I think that's a bad word to say. I think we are getting, it is getting a little late in terms of making a good addition because the season's, coming up. Precious is not a real 5 to me, and I think Tibbs thinks the same, right? Do you trust Sims a little bit more to run into the season as the backup? I could support that if that's the case, if we want to hold out, but I think it's not ideal. Also, Hukporti, we want to see him do what he can do in Summer League. He's going to be there, so we got bodies, Buzzer says, I must admit, I would have preferred Lowry or over Payne, but he's still a good pickup. Yeah, that's what's up. Lowry is a better player, but Payne is 29. I think he's got a lot left in the tank. Cody says, I hope we still pull off the trade for Kessler. Damn you, Danny Ainge. Yeah, it's tough, man. As I said, the Jazz don't have much to lose. They do want to tank, though. Yep. John says, we're going to get a center, but on our terms. Hopefully it is, the right deal, and we keep Deuce out of that deal. We do still have other trade chips. I think that's what I want to emphasize, guys. You could sign and trade Precious. You could include Sims or Rocas's rights with picks. I think, the idea of why this campaign deal was great, was solid, is because you're adding more depth. If you take Deuce McBride away, suddenly you're not as strong, right? I know, Kolek looks promising, absolutely, but he's a rookie, right? What if Brunson were to get injured and miss any games, right? Do you Do you want Kolek to start? Do you trust Payne to start? For me, I think they're better as backups right now. So when it comes to Brunson, having Deuce on this squad is insurance, right? For scoring specifically as well. We know he can come in and shoot. He can put up 18 to 20 points per night, and he can look great. And he's on an awesome contract for 2 more seasons. So I would rather not rob the backcourt depth to replenish the big man spot. But I mean, that's a tough call. I know a lot of you are for trading Deuce as well to get Kessler, right? We had a lot of people let us know that they want us to get Kessler, and if it costs Deuce, they would do it. But I do know a lot of people that would be against it as well, right? Paula says, with Mitch, the injuries are a problem. They always come at the wrong time. I think, unfortunately, there's no good time to get an injury. It's just they always come in the playoffs because it's a long season, right? 82 games, and then it's, 16 wins to win the trophy. So, yeah, that's tough. Anyone else in for Kessler? Yeah, I think a lot of teams are, man. I think New Orleans Pelicans, fam, can offer Brandon Ingram. I know the Jazz don't want Ingram because he's a veteran and they're trying to lose, but I think 3-team trades could happen where Brandon Ingram goes somewhere, Kessler can go to New Orleans, and then New Orleans can send the Jazz can do some other things as well. But yeah, there are more teams. Menno B is high on Rokas, says getting rid of Rokas is going to be detrimental. Might come back to bite. I think I'll be okay parting with Rokas just because Kolek looks so promising. But yeah, Rokas is still young. I've still got he's still got promise, and I've got hopes for him. But we do have to give up something to solidify the bigs. At this point, I think Kessler is solid. I do think he's a little overrated in terms of 2 first-round draft picks. Guys, don't forget, it was reported by Begley that the Jazz rebuffed a deal for 2 first-round picks for Kessler. So if that's what the price is going to be, I'm out, man. I'm out on that one, fam. And so, Nick Richards, step on up. Jalen Duren, step on up. Who else is out there? I mean, see, the thing is, we kind of let all these bigs leave that, sign on the veteran minimums as well. There was Mo Bamba. There was a lot of guys kind of re-sign early. So I think Leon has definitely got plans, and he's got something cooking. But yeah, look, it'll be Kessler and Jalen Duren for me if I am going to give up something meaningful. But what's interesting that Ian also said was that we weren't just looking at bigs. We got Tyus Jones, who was on the radar as well. So as I bring up the roster as well, where it sits, let me pull up some other reports. So we had interest in Landry Shamet and Davis Bertans, right? I think the Shamet move is probably gone now with Payne is a cheaper option, but Davis Bertans could be the option to come for the 5.2 million, right? Maybe you bring Precious back, he solidifies the center position. I would prefer more size. But then maybe Davis Bertans comes in as the stretch 4. Either way, we do need another 4 and another 5. I think whether it's Precious and someone, or someone else, and we send Precious out as well and get another big too. But look, I'm okay with not getting Shamet. I think we do have enough shooting now with Deuce, with DiVincenzo. I think Tyler Kolek can shoot it I think Dadier in time, the shot will come around, and Keita Bates-Diop can shoot as well. Davis Bertans would be a nice shooter, I think, to add to the squad. Some of you aren't for that, but I think it's another low risk move. I mean, Davis Bertans, he's not going to play heavy minutes. He's just going to be a situational shooter with that situation. Buzzer says we can't trade first round picks for a backup center. Yeah, I'm all for that too, man. It would have to be a starting quality guy, yeah, to do anything with these picks. You guys are buzzing, cooking in the chat. Appreciate you all. Smash that like button. And the streets are buzzing. What would you like to see Leon Rose do to complete this roster now? Let us know. Miguel says we need Duran without losing Mitchie. Yep. That is a big situation to look out for, fam. But yeah, the New York Knicks have gone and announced it already. Wow. Let's pull this thing up. Right now, as the New York Knicks have added Cam Payne, they've also announced the deal. Officially, Cam Payne is a New York Knick. Let me bring it up. So the Knicks aren't beating around the bush right now. Cam Payne, welcome to New York. Officially unveiled by the squad. Let's hear what Leon Rose had to say on the deal. 6'3", Cam Payne, averaging 7.4 points, 2.6 assists, 1.5 rebounds over 16 minutes in 78 games last season, right, with 10 starts with Milwaukee and Philly. So after being traded to Philly, Payne posted 9.3 points, 3 assists, and almost 2 rebounds over 19 minutes. That's pretty solid. In 31 games with 8 starts as well. So look, quality addition for a vet minimum. I think, you know, a team gets desperate at the deadline, you might be able to coerce 2 seconds out of them. You know, if Kolek looks legit, we can wheel and deal. But, you know, you see there's always a team in the league that's going to need a point guard at the trade deadline. Maybe they get a little desperate and they give you 2 or 3 seconds. And suddenly you turned, you know, a free signing into more assets that you can stack up. So for me, low risk move. I'm going to give it a B. Well, I don't think he's going to be much of a factor on the court, barring any injuries. But I think he will be solid depth for this Knicks squad, right? So what are your thoughts, guys? Officially, the newest Knick is announced. Jet Life, salute. What does it mean for Gary Trent? Gary Trent is going to get money, man. I think he will go to a team that he could probably get, you know, in the range of 5 to 10, 15 mil. So I think New Orleans still have some spots. I think some money. If Ingram goes, I think also Detroit have a lot of money available as well. They need shooting. Buzzer says Landry Shamet is washed. I'm cool with that as well. Mark, let's get a backup center now. Kyle Filipowski went to Utah. I think they're not going to trade him right now. You know, they just brought him in the building, so I think they want to see how he plays out. And I think Utah want to lose this season, so I think they're going to play the rookies a lot too, fam. But look, Leon Rose ain't finished. Let's not worry so much about, you know, the position at the big man, because Leon Rose has got something cooking, right? As I bring up the real roster, because with this move with Cam Payne, right, it just adds more depth, more flexibility to what we can do. But the next move is in the works, right? Precious is going to be central to that. He's either going to be back to fill one of the 4 or 5 spots, or he's going to be sent out in a sign and trade, as well. So that's the last holding chip that we're waiting on. So that's why nothing's been announced yet. Too, McCullough is injured. I think they're waiting to see the severity of that to determine whether or not he takes a roster spot or a two-way or a stash as well. Of course, the Knicks probably want to keep one spot available. Rokas is still trying out in Summer League, although I think that becomes highly unlikely now. I think Rokas probably gets traded. I think a lot of you are talking about Deuce McBride getting traded. This also means that Rokas Jokubaitis is more tradable because he's definitely not coming this year, right? He's definitely not coming, right? He's going to be fifth string point guard if he comes, right? Or I guess if Deuce McBride gets traded, that might mean Rokas might be likely to come. So maybe that is another situation to look for. Obviously, you don't feel Deuce's loss so much if you sign Payne and Rokas Jokubaitis as well. So, I mean, there's no doubt the Deuce noise is definitely getting louder. Gordon Hayward, stay away from him, says Buzzer and Dovers Bertans. Prezi says, CT, what are your thoughts on Yurtseven? Yeah, I think in terms of guys out there that are available on the veteran minimum, I think he would be a guy that the Knicks might look at. There might even be free agent workouts as well. We heard reports that they did work out, Jarrett Culver, a former lottery pick, and he's currently in Summer League right now. So, see, the Knicks organization does a lot of goodwill. They'll, through agency connections, we will bring in some of the clients to come in and work out for us, just to scratch their back. They scratch our back sometime in the future. I think so. A lot of that stuff doesn't get reported, but the Knicks do hold free agent workouts as well. So Leon Rose is ticking all the boxes, man. He's doing all the due diligence necessary. If there is doubts over whether a guy could be good for us or not, I think their agent will probably organize a workout, have them go up against another guy, and these guys can try out for a spot. May the best man win, kind of thing. Also, don't forget, guys, there is the Exhibit 10 deals as well. So we could basically give three, like Yurtseven, one of those guys, and maybe two other guys. We could give those guys a small guarantee. Come with us to training camp. Work out against each other. Work for a spot, and see who can get it. That might be something we look at as well, right? It's low risk because we can basically just catch them in action, in workouts, and we can cut them before the season begins, right? If they're no good, as well. Menno B says, yeah, the center position is the most important for defensive purposes, especially in the league with other bigs like Jokic, Wemby, Embiid. We're in a scary position to be in. Until the season begins and we haven't done anything, then I'll be more worried. But right now, I think it's a priority, and I think the Knicks are working on it. I think they are. I think the Knicks have had interest in Duran for a long time. So let's look at that. There's smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. With that, fam, in terms of Duran, we were interested in him on draft night as well. And you guys know that interest usually remains with the current front office, right? But Leon Rose has added a very solid veteran to the squad, a point guard who will give us some playmaking and some scoring depth as well. Looks like Russell Westbrook is also going to be on the move too, fam, but no room for us. Okay, so we got a little update as well from Steph Bondi of the Daily News regarding the campaign situation. like you guys have been saying. I don't know if it factored into the decision to sign him, but Payne is really close with Mikal Bridges from their time in Phoenix. So, step on up, fam, in terms of that, right? Connections, scratching their back, we scratch your back, right? Cameron Payne joins his buddy, Mikal Bridges, in the Mecca, right? See, that's what's up with connections, fam. You know, when you're in a situation where you're adding talent, it's a connections league. You know, maybe he had other options, right? And once the Mikal Bridges deal was done, it's like, you know what, let's link up. You know, I'm coming to the Knicks. The Knicks shouted out to my agent, I'll take that deal. So connections mean a lot with that. So we'll see. Yeah, Prezi says you like that idea, Exhibit 10s. Yeah, you see, we give you extra insight here as well, guys. You know, just from experience, this is how things play out. You know, Knicks work out free agents. It doesn't always get reported. There is Exhibit 10s. I think the Knicks are very good at, you know, helping other agents, you know, giving guys some little guaranteed money. Also, another good example, guys, and this is a name that might get spoken of a little bit more as well. So yeah, welcome in anyone else that's just joining us. But Dimitrios Skapansev, right? The big man from the Summer League squad, Westchester, right? People were asking, why didn't Ariel Hukporti finish the second half of the other night? Well, Ariel Hukporti's, signed, sealed, delivered, guaranteed money, guaranteed deal. But Dimitrios Skapansev is fighting for his life, for his NBA life or professional career. So what we did was a favor. We basically said, you know what, Ariel's going to be with us all season. You know, we're going to get a good look at him. Right, no problems. Skapansev, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got in the second half. And so Skapansev played big minutes. So look out for him to maybe get more minutes as well. It doesn't mean anything about Ariel Hukporti. It doesn't mean that the organization's down on him or anything like that. Summer League is for, trialing stuff. It's for, helping agents out, doing some favors. Basically, what's been said already about, getting Dwayne Washington some minutes as well. I think Fred Katz also said that on the last KFS pod. Dwayne Washington's a veteran, and the Knicks are just helping him out as well. So I think we're doing the same thing with Skapansev. He's a bit of an unknown, but he's not going to be something that I'm really interested in looking at. But with the news of the Cameron Payne addition, that makes a lot of sense. That those guys were boys in Phoenix. So if you can't beat them, join them. Dirty Dancers in the building. Salute. This is all good stuff. We will find a center, but no more clowns like Arch, Washington, Jeffries wasting roster spots. Only real centers. Man, I agree with your point. But those guys aren't really NBA players. But, Cameron Payne is. So 007 says, can't put a price on camaraderie. I think when push comes to shove as well, it's appealing when you're a winning team, right? It all goes back to winning, man. Playing with your boy is cool, but if it's a championship contender, then cool. Also, don't discount that Cam Payne might feel a certain way about Philly, right? Normally, if you leave a team to join the team that beat you, normally there's something, something there. Maybe Campaign thought he should have got more minutes, Maybe he's not seeing eye to eye with Joel Embiid or Lowry or something like that. So he's come over to the better side now as well, and I tell you what, man, the playoffs are going to be popping. I know it's a while away, but I can't wait. Right now, I can't wait. John says Summer League is where we found Mitch. We got him, big looks. What's up, Joe? I think the cat noise, I talked about that a lot tonight. I think there's a lot more, smoke, less fire with the cat move. I think we were linked to Donovan Mitchell heavily. That never happened. Everyone thought we were going to go for Zion. That never happened. So I'm not paying any attention to the cat news anymore. I think, obviously there's sources that were saying that. Maybe there is interest, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of ways you could look at things, I think Leon Rose has always been a bit about misdirection, distraction as well, right? All these guys we got, nobody really predicted, When Leon Rose took over, nobody said, yeah, Jalen Brunson is the guy. That's his target, right? Nobody had that. Nobody said OG Anunoby was going to come with, from the Raptors as well. Of course, Mikal Bridges, everyone thought that wasn't going to happen as well, right? So every move to happen was something that no one saw coming. And so when we talk about Cat, now that's like everyone's expecting that, watch it never happen, just like the Donovan Mitchell thing as well. So yeah, I disagree with it. I don't think the Cat thing's going to happen. I think Tibbs has a bigger say in this thing than a lot of people think. I think he's taken on a bigger role in recruitment. From what I see personally, right? It's interesting Tibbs hasn't got his extension yet, but I think that will come. I don't think there's a rush. I mean, let's face it, Tibbs ain't going anywhere. He ain't getting a coaching job with another team right now. All those roles are filled. Right. He's got a contract with us. Well, if anything, I like that Leon's not desperate, right? He's not running to guys to give them money. He's like, you have to earn it. You show me, and then I'll repay you. Yeah, the best thing about the campaign move is, when we're down bodies, he's legit someone who you can depend upon, as written in the statement. He did start some games on contenders as well. You see his stats on screen. So yeah, the Knicks move quickly on this one. I knew a move was going to come sooner or later, because guys, we did have roster spots to fill out. We still have roster spots to fill out. But look, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man. What does Tyler Kolek give us, man? A double-double? Triple-double? I think he's going to look better as the Summer League progresses. I expect Rokas to probably, up his urgency and look better as well. I think Pacome Daddier will also look better in his second game coming in. We know Toppin and Washington are the senior guys. They'll get a little bit more reps up. Ariel Hukporti looked comfortable in the pick and roll with the two guards as well. Hopefully Ariel can show some more touch around the basket, block some shots, and continue his good rebounding. Brooklyn have a weaker Summer League squad. Let's get that dub. Let's get a win tomorrow. We'll be live post-game, to break it all down. But yeah, I think it's Kolek's Summer League. I think he might be MVP of the team when it's done. The center situation, yeah, it's got us all waiting to see what's up. But I think the Karl Anthony Towns thing just doesn't suit Tibbs, guys. It just does not. I think Rokas Jokibitis is more than likely that trade chip before Deuce McBride as well. Dirty says, I just think of the soup as tradable salary this year or next. Don't use it, you lose it. So you want to keep the salary around one way or the other. That's the way I'm looking at the campaign situation too. You know, point guard goes down for another team. Bang, he could be traded for 2 seconds or something. Or we have an injury and he's more valuable to the New York Knicks. Either way, we were never going to gain a veteran's minimum salary-wise too. Munch says Payne is a hard-nosed pro who plays well in big moments, will amp it up in the guard and will make the Celtics have to play even harder. Yeah, he's that Payne when he goes up against you, fam, as well. Him and TJ McConnell. Kolek, he'll push him in practice as well. The more the better, fam. I mean, I know some people aren't the biggest fan of the move, but what can't get lost in this, guys, is we're competing for an NBA championship, right? If you don't already believe it, let those words sink in, right? We're not playing games now. We're not doing favors having Dwayne Washington on the end of the bench. All respect to him. We're not trying to have Archie Diacono, wasting a roster spot anymore, right? We're not trying to have Ron Baker here or Emmanuel Mudiay, right? This is NBA championship or bust right now. And you need as many bodies as possible to beat Boston. To be the best, you have to beat the best, right? And look at Boston. They bring these robots off the bench that shoot threes, run up and down like Terminators, right? And the only way you're going to win a championship is to go through them, right? Peyton Pritchard, man, he shoots half-court shots for fun. You've got Doogie Howser, and all those other, bodies that they're bringing off the bench as well. I like our chances, but you still got to beat them. So you can never have enough shot making and scoring, playmaking off the bench now. And look, I feel better about Brunson more than anyone now because, we don't have to run him into the ground, right? He's our most valuable asset. And I think Leon Rose is probably like, okay, how can I protect my most important asset right now? Because if Jalen Brunson misses time, right, this thing can go downhill. So it's like, how can I protect him where, he could take back-to-backs off a little bit and we can still win. We've still got so much depth to beat, Charlotte on the second night of a back-to-back. Brunson can sit or play, 23 minutes. Those kind of things, protect him for the regular season. And when it's money time, then he'll be fresh. Kevin's not a fan of the campaign deal. I don't think it's going to affect Kolek's minutes. I mean, Kolek's a rookie. I think we've got to temper our expectations with him while Deuce is still here as well. But nobody's saying campaign has playing time anyway as a promise. I think campaign will definitely ride the bench. NYC Ball says, I hated Payne, but he's a Knick now. Welcome to the Knicks, I guess. Man, it is what it is. As like I said, we're getting closer to a championship, man. If Kevin Durant said, if Kevin Durant came here eventually and put us over the top, I'd be like, oh, all right, let's just win the chip. But some guys you feel more than others. What's up, John? Nice thing is most of the team could play multiple positions. I absolutely agree. We really need that center and Precious back. Yeah, Tibbs really needs that. Tibbs without a center or without good center depth feels naked with that, with Tibbs and, needing that rim protection. He feels vulnerable. So I think, Precious and another guy, I think, or Precious for a real guy. One or the other, I'd be okay with, you know. Let's say if Precious got us Kessler, Precious and picks, you know, or got us Jalen Duran, I'll be okay with that. Otherwise, if it's a lesser name, hopefully him and Precious come back as well. But look, Precious's salary, clearly that is going to be the reason why we haven't signed him yet, whether it's to facilitate something big. Look out, you know, Leon Rose is making calls right now in the lab. Kerwin says Towns' salary is pretty spicy too. So that type of move, it flops, could crash. Everything could crash. That is the big difference too, fam. There's so many layers to it, which is why I'm not buying into the cat thing fully, like some, because it could be from the other side. Think about Minnesota. Think about their reasons for wanting to maybe move on from Cat. You know, he was up and down in the playoffs like a yo-yo. His salary is an albatross. Like, they're a cheap organization as well. There's reasons to try to move on from him. They could be the source planting news out there, you know. Not everything coming out of it is Leon Rose talking to agents and things. It's other agents, executives, you know, planting some noise as well. So yeah, it's all about insurance and basically a lot of the things that Leon does is working in silence. You know, so, you know, I trust him now. I think he has our trust, and I do think that he's going to continue to do the right things. I think this is a solid move. I give it a B as we get ready to wrap this show up as well. Been going almost 2 hours. Appreciate everyone in the comments and replay squad. Salute. Smash that like button. Leon's got the streets buzzing as we add more depth. A veteran, a shooter, scorer, Cameron Payne, boys with Mikal Bridges, but this ain't done yet, right? Precious Achiuwa should be up next. We should hear very soon. Again, what the situation is. We'll be live tomorrow night after Summer League for a post-game after the Brooklyn Nets. And then it's a back-to-back as well against the Kings, right? The roster is taking more shape now with Payne, which means Rokas is less likely to come, I think, to the Knicks. Could this be a showcase for him to be moved in a future deal? We'll wait and see, guys. But yeah, I like the move today, and most of you do as well. I don't buy into the Town situation, although I don't feel like Precious is the number one option for the backup five either. So I think Leon is definitely trying to make that move happen, whether it's Duran, Walker Kessler, maybe another name we haven't entertained yet as well. I said there's some free agent workouts probably happening as well to see who can give us some minutes at the five. There is Exhibit 10s and of course the training camp invites as well. So we'll see. You know, I don't think we're in a desperate situation, but it is something that needs addressing. Right, so we need 4s and 5s, I agree too. But yeah, appreciate everyone. Have a blessed night, and let's chat tomorrow night after the game, post-game, after hopefully beating down Brooklyn. Everyone salute. Let's get it. Peace. Go Knicks.